large presentations. He's spoken across thousands and thousands of people. He's traveled over the world to speak. He has one of the best sales programs I've ever seen that he's put together. He's a bundle of energy, he's a bundle of joy. Anytime he steps presence, his energy is super infectious. I have the great pleasure of introducing my dear friend, Jas Takhar, as he talks about the 5-pillar sales. Now give him a huge round of applause.
Thank you, brother. How you doing?
Good, fantastic.
Is it okay if I don't use the mic? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
All right, let me just get this. I know if I'm invited to your Halloween party, I'm hoping I can dress up as Ron Sally. Look at this guy. Good looking guy. Just so I can kind of get a sense of the room today. Who does follow me on social? Ugh, that's a little hit on the ego today. And for everyone who doesn't, like, what are you doing here today? I want to speak to you guys about my 5 pillars. But before I even mention that, because there is a lot of new faces, and congratulations to the Millennium team for putting not only this event together, but having the sustainability in business. So I've been in the sales industry now for coming up to 31 years, 21 years specifically in real estate sales. I have a pretty large team. We do a little over anywhere from 550 to 600 transactions a year. I don't tell you any of that moving forward, guys, to impress you. It's more to impress upon you where all the data that I'm going to be speaking about today is actually coming from. Now, I like to think of myself as one of the best player coaches in the industry, not in real estate, but actually in sales. Why? Well, because I still sell. And then what I learn from me selling, I come and teach. So everything I speak to you about today is not something I read in a book. It's not just me pontificating ideas. It's actually things that are working in today's economy. Because I think it's a little safe to say. And before I mention that, who's in the business 5 years or more? Just put up your hand. Put them up high, like you guys are 2.5 years, like halfway up, like put them up high. Okay, cool. So everyone else, 5 years and less, the market's changed. The phone doesn't ring as much, the emails don't ding as much. And so I believe that we don't need to ask for easier markets, because that's such a reactive strategy. What we need to do is build better habits, upgrade our skills through sessions like this, through sessions that the rest of the crew is putting on for you guys. But I think most importantly, we have to build better systems. Because a business without systems is truly like a car sitting in the driveway, looks nice, but doesn't have 4 tires and doesn't have a steering wheel. Now, I ask you today to use this as a lab. And what I mean by that is ask a lot of questions. I'm going to go through my talk a little quicker than I usually do. Not because I don't like you, it's because I actually want to get to my favorite place, which is the Q&A. I want you to put me on the hot seat. I've been doing this for a very long time, talks like this, in the business, and I truly have come to realize that the easiest way for me to customize my talk for you is you just throw questions at me. So I'm going to go on for about 25 minutes or so on my soapbox about what's happening in the market, what you can do, what systems to put into place. And then I really want you to ask questions and use this as the lab so we can make less mistakes in here, in this setting, so we don't make mistakes out there. Is that okay? Yeah. So we can play and participate? Yeah? Okay, cool. Awesome. So as you envision your business as a car, start to think where and which tires you need air in, and if you have a good steering wheel. Because no longer is it just about tips and tactics. Those are good, but we do need a full system. That's what I'll be walking you through today. And the first tire that I needed to put air into was my calendar. Otherwise, the business does feel like a roller coaster. You just get up and down results. And that calendar is what I call the time blocking and productivity pillar. Because for the 21 years, in the first 3 years of it, I really bought into the hustle porn. Meaning, you gotta work 25 hours a day and 8 days a week, otherwise you're not gonna make it. And so that's what I did. And I made a shit ton of money. And I'm really gonna do my best not to throw F-bombs because I'm really fucking trying to get better with it, okay? So just, if you are a little worried about it, you might wanna leave right now. Now, within that time period, I started to suffer. My wife had divorce papers lined up on the dining room table. They're probably still there. My kids, I'm not sure if they knew who their dad was, the milkman, I don't know who they thought their dad was. My health suffered, sleepless nights, on the roller coaster, the yo-yo of weight. And so I went on a quest. And I don't call it a journey because I truly believe that journeys have a destination and an end. So I went on a quest, a little like Dora the Explorer, right? Realizing that there's going to be things that come up, there's going to be setbacks, I'm going to have some wins. But as long as I keep pushing forward, that's a good sign. And so I went on the quest and started interviewing the top sales professionals in the industry right across the world. Shameless plug, this is a shameless plug, and I am trying to impress you. I've sat down with some of the top 100 millionaires and billionaires in the world, and I'm not shitting you, they're all recorded. Go to my YouTube page, you'll see all the recordings. And I started asking questions. How are you getting closer to balance? Because I knew that there's no way I'm going to get to a 50-50. That's just not a real expectation. How do I get closer to that? And I learned the process of blocking out time. And what I did was, I realized that I'm no good to anybody, including my family, my community, my clients, until I block out time for the one machine that I don't get a second part for, the body. And so I blocked out time every morning to give love to myself before I can give love to anyone else. Because if your cup is not overflowing, you can't give someone something if you don't have enough of it. So I started the process, making sure that the machine was prepared. And then I gave to my family. You like that one? The women always like that one when I do that. It's so cute. The men are like, what the fuck is he doing? It's all good. And then came the business part of it. Now, like any other business, you need to have hours of operation. I highly recommend that you stop telling people that you will respond to them 24 hours a day and 7 days a week. I see it in emails. I see it in the beautiful business cards. Problem with that is that you're lying. So you're already behind the 8 ball. Because I guarantee you there will be a time that if someone were to text you at 3 o'clock in the morning, you should be sleeping. And so, set up your hours of operation. You want to work 7 days a week? Do it. You want to work 6? You want to work 5? Whatever those hours are, block it out. So then you can set up the system to let everyone else know in your family that that's when you're working. Because the breaking point for me was when I was with my family, I was feeling guilty for not working. And when I was working, I felt guilty not being with my family. So I knew something had to give. And so once everyone knew my hours of operation, now I could start blocking out the most important stuff in the business. Now, I know specifically what business you're in, and I say that only because I speak to a lot of industries in relationship-driven / high-ticket sales, but I get what we need to do as real estate agents, and even our cousins in the industry, mortgage brokers, right? We got to show properties, we got to inspect properties, we got to do offers. You got to create a listing presentation, and knowing Ron, you guys probably have the best listing presentation in the city. But what good is a listing presentation if you don't have anyone to fucking present to? So your mornings should be protected like oxygen. The mornings, block out. If you want to survive in today's market, 2 hours is minimum. If you want to start thriving in today's market, and really quickly, guys, 21 years, I've seen up markets and down markets. I can tell you that money gets made in both markets. It's just a matter of, are you going to be in the middle of it? You want to thrive in today's market, minimum 3 hours, and this is where I lose people, because it's a word called prospecting. Lead generation, business development. Because we hope for so much more inbound, but in today's market, as I mentioned earlier, it's not as consistent. So we need to figure out ways to go outbound. Now, there's at least 68 to 72 ways to generate business. Just pick 2 of them, 3 of them, and focus on it for 2 to 3 hours a day, on the days that you're working. Your calendar isn't just a schedule. It's your blueprint for wealth. Now, I don't want to just light a fire under your ass today. I know I can do that, and I appreciate what Ron said about the energy, and I really do, and I kind of hang my hat on that. But unfortunately, I've come to realize if I motivate you today, it's great for Tuesday morning, but then fucking Tuesday night comes, and someone calls you and throws you off. So what I really want to leave you here with is implementation. So question I have for you. As you can see, I have a couple of videographers here with me, and I have one back at the office. If I sent one of them and recorded your last 7 days, okay? Everyone just play this. I'm not going to make you do anything. Don't worry, I'm not going to come to your house and record you. Okay? If we recorded you for the last 7 days, and then we replayed that recording, would you pay yourself the money you say you want to earn? And if the answer is yes, awesome. If the answer is no, that's okay. We first need to know the problem to figure out the solution. Now, time blocking gives you hours, but CRM and nurturing gives those hours direction. So in the 31 years that I've been in sales and service, a little over $4.2 billion has been sold by myself with support staff. Okay, again, I'm not trying to impress you. A little over $4.2 billion. Now, 80% of that has all been sold through people that already know me, like me. I'm just trying to get them to trust me. Because what I did, I started selling shoes when I was at the age of 15. Now, I'd be lying to you if I said I did a CRM and used Novo, or sorry, I apologize if I mentioned the company name wrong. I didn't know that at the age of 15. But at the age of 18, I went into the banking industry. At around 20, I started selling high-end cars. Got into the real estate business at a little past 23, and then started a coaching company 3 years ago. What I did every single time, So when I got into the car business to get momentum as a 19-year-old, 20-year-old, I called everybody, not that I sold shoes to, that I sold shoes with. I couldn't take all the information from the banking industry because of confidentiality, so what I did is everyone that I worked with, I called them. When I got into real estate, in my first couple of months, the reason I had momentum is because I had a stack of cars that I sold for 2.5, 3 years, and I called everyone in that business. What do you think I did when I got the coaching business started? Called every single real estate agent that I did a deal with. Now, the CRM people in the room and other coaches, no hit on anyone else. There's so many ways to segment your database. Because I barely passed high school, like I think they just pushed me out to get me out, I need a simple way to do it. So here's 4 ways to simply segment your database. Don't overthink this, okay? Number 1 is past clients. Anyone that's done business with you in the industry you're in now or an industry that you came from. If someone paid you to do something, they go into your CRM as a past client. Number 2 is prospects, hot prospects, cold prospects. Somebody who's saying, look, I'm thinking about buying, selling, or investing in the next 90 to 120 days. Third is, again, this is another part where I lose people. Your sphere of influence, your uncle. I know he changed your diaper when you were a kid, and it's a little tough to ask him for business. My rule is quite simple when it comes to all 4 of these segments, and I'll give you the 4th one in a second. If the person is 18 plus, because that's the age of majority in our province, and if they have a pulse, like they're alive, they go into the CRM. Why? Not because they might buy. I actually don't even care if they buy or not. I just know on average, everybody knows 200 people that knows 200 people that knows 200 people. So your network right now, as you sit at this desk, is 40,000 people. So next time you're sitting in an Uber, I highly recommend that you spark up a conversation with the Uber driver. Yes, he might have just, and I can say this because it's my fucking paisans, yes, he might have just came from Punjab last week, and he has no income, and he can't qualify for a mortgage, but he knows people. Just like the hotel staff here. The 4th segment, and this is one of the most untapped segments where we get anywhere from 15 to 20 deals a year like clockwork, which is other service providers. Now, we all think of the mortgage guys and the real estate lawyer and the insurance broker because they're tied to the transaction. I want you to go further out. So anyone who needs business, the florist, the dentist, the doctor, the landscaper, the contractor, because again, they need business. Now, a good strategy with those people is not to call them and say, hey, do you know somebody who's thinking about buying? A much easier strategy, just like if we were doing a party in this banquet hall tonight, and someone said, did you notice the interest rates went down? And you're on this side, and they said it over on that side, you're like, interest rates? So the strategy you want to do is when someone says, damn, I got a leaky toilet. You run and say, leaky toilet? I got the best plumber for you. Because then what happens is you become the connector, and we all know the coolest kid in high school was the one who threw the house parties. Right? Everyone's thinking. You're like, fuck, I wasn't the cool kid. That's okay. We could be the cool person in business now by being the connector. See, you're not short on leads. You're just short on follow-up. Your CRM is your gold mine. Now, the question I have for you when it comes to your CRM, how many people in your phone right now bought, sold, or invested with someone else in the last 12 months? Not using you. And our first thought when that happens is, right? But is it really their fault? They don't walk around with your business card stapled on their head. You didn't do any nurturing. And like a plant, as you put the seed in the ground, you can't go to it tomorrow and say, where are you? The plant will look at you and say, what are you, new to this? I need some water, I need some sunlight, and I need some time. But if done properly, your CRM, and another word for that is database, works like luggage. You take it from one business to the other, and it will pay you tenfold every single year. Because I can tell you with predictability exactly how many deals I'm going to end up doing this year. Give or take 5%. Because I know what's in my CRM, I know how we nurture them, I know how many referrals we get, and I know how much they do business with us. Now, a directed list is good. Education, though, gives you inbound referrals. Because I, like everyone else, didn't want to call people and say, hey, Ron, are you thinking about buying and selling soon? Because as I did that, I noticed something, that by the third call, Ron never picked up my phone because he knew what was coming. And what's the chances of me calling Ron and the stars align that day and he says, oh my God, last night me and my wife were thinking about buying? It's very rare. Does it happen? Sure, but it's very rare. So I needed a different process to make it easy for the people in my CRM to send me people. And so instead of me calling them and asking if they're thinking about buying or selling, I started doing educational events. And the first educational event I did, it's actually very meta right now because the room felt like this. And you can watch my other tapes, like I don't just say that. It actually really looked like this, and it was set up 2 weeks before for 70 people that registered. And a week before, the list went down to about 25. So we called the hotel, got the room set up for 25 people, and the day of, a storm hit. It's Toronto. One person showed up. Now, part of me, if I had a gun, I would probably shoot myself. Because as I set up for 75 people originally, one person showed up. And we put the show on. Nothing ended up happening with him. He probably just came for the free bagels. But I knew that the strategy was still a good idea. I just needed to reframe the questions in my brain. And that's a good strategy for the rest of your life. Because the monkey in the brain won't stop talking. I'm not the only one who has somebody in the, that talks to myself, right? Okay, good. Thought I was going a little psycho. One way to focus that monkey in the brain is to ask it better questions. Because if you ask the question long before Google and ChatGPT of your brain and say, why can't I ever make any money? Why is this business so hard? Why doesn't he show me more love? Why am I an idiot? The brain will give you all the reasons why. It's its job. The job of the organ is to solve problems. But a part of it never evolved since cavemen and cavewomen, which is the fight or flight, because we had tigers in the room. And that's not a good time when the tiger's in the room to say, what a beautiful tiger, it's good to run. So it solved problems really early on. But the problem is we're asking bad questions. Better questions are, how can I ensure that I do 4 deals a month? Who do I have to enlist? What questions should I ask of my team? Because the brain starts to give you those answers. So if you want to write something down, I highly recommend this is it. Okay? The quality of your life will always be determined by the quality of questions you ask yourself. I'm going to say that again. The quality of your life will always be determined by the quality of questions you ask yourself. So I started to ask better questions. What can I do to ensure more people show up? How many more days do I need for promotion? So I did another event. This time 25 people registered, 5 showed up. Did a third event. Had 50 people register, 15 showed up. I now speak in front of thousands of people, home buyers, home sellers, investors, every single quarter for the last 8 years. Every quarter. Thousands of people in a room who are thinking about buying, selling, or investing. I just scaled it to webinars so I can reach a larger base. But one big pivot early on, as I really noticed that people would start to show up, but they didn't do anything with me. And one of the main reasons for that was because I was pitching them. When I got them in a room, I started selling them shit on the spot. And then I realized that's not a good strategy. I'm going to educate. So I wrote a book. And in this book, I teach people how to buy on their own, sell on their own, and invest on their own without a real estate agent. In fact, there's a chapter that says, you don't need a real estate agent. Because it's true. Legally, they don't need us. Now, before you think I'm on crack, I'll tell you why I did it. It's because I knew that by cross-referencing Treb and GeoWarehouse, every time title got transferred, 98% of the time, it was with a real estate agent. So only 2% of the time, the public didn't use a real estate agent. So I stopped focusing on the 2% and put all my effort on the 98%. And I started to become the trusted authority. And that's why I say to you, don't pitch at events. What you want to do is teach something so you can become the trusted authority. Now, what is one small event that you can put on in the next 30 days? What's one small event that you can put on in the next 30 days where you teach someone something and not pitch? Now, the thing with events is people learn from you the one time that they come to the event. But on social media, they learn every time they scroll. So what I did is, 6 years ago, I understood that I needed to become omnipresent. I needed to be everywhere that people's awareness was at. So what I started to do is a podcast. Now my podcast, if you go there now, is actually targeted for the people in this room, but 6 years ago it was only targeted teaching people how to buy on their own, sell on their own, and invest. What that allowed me to do was take a 30-minute episode and start clipping all the content. I also took the audio of the podcast, used the transcription to send out weekly emails to my CRM. I had a blog already set up once a week. And then I started to shoot videos anywhere from 30 to 60 seconds, and I did them 3 times a day. The easiest way to do that currently in today's landscape of social media is to just answer the questions you're already getting from people in emails and on calls or in appointments. And you don't need to do this 3 times a day because I'll lose you. There's just no way. Starting at 0 to do 3 a day, it's not a good expectation. You need to do this at the start 3 times a week. And if you're not getting 3 questions in a week from prospects, your mom, your neighbor, you need to get out there more. because content is the modern handshake. Your prospects can't buy from a ghost. So let's play a little bit. It's early in the morning. It looks like you guys got your coffee. Again, don't worry, I'm not going to ask you to shoot a video because I know some of you might faint. Okay, who goes on, I'm going to ask you to stand, okay? Just let's get some blood flowing for a second. Who goes on social media and scrolls collectively for an hour a day? So 5 minutes here, 10 minutes here, an hour at a time, just stand up. Let's be honest. Remember, guys, nobody's buying real estate from each other here. So you're not hurting anyone's feelings. Just be honest. Thank you. I appreciate that. So you don't go on social media? Okay, good. Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay. Just stay standing. Get the blood flowing anyways. Okay. Okay. Now, stay standing if you put out a video, one video, not a post of happy whatever it is, Diwali or something. Okay? Stay standing if you put out a video once a day. And this one's easy to catch because I'll just go on your social media and catch you. So if you put out one video a day. You do, hon? One video a day? Awesome. Can I ask, and if I overstep my boundaries, please let me know, okay? How many deals have you done in the last 12 months?
In the last 12 months?
12 months, so just approximate. 10, 15, 52?
10 to 15?
10 to 15.
Yeah.
Here's a good reason why. Not because she necessarily just puts out, and thank you so much. Okay? It's the consistency. So you're not going to get in shape by eating one bad meal. You're also not going to get out of shape. So you're not going to get into shape by eating one good meal. You're not going to get out of shape by eating one bad meal. It's what you do over a long period of time. Now, for everybody who stood, remember this is the lab, so I'm not throwing you under the bus. But you go on social media to scroll to see what the fuck someone ate last night. And you do that for an hour a day, but yet you will not post something that will take you 12 to 15 minutes. So here's a quick little hack for everyone. Before you scroll, post. Do not allow yourself to scroll unless you post. And I highly recommend, and this one might hit you guys hard, okay? Only because this is my game. Like, this is my thing. I can't do anything else. You ask me to put a picture on the wall, I'll fuck it up. Like, I can't do anything else but sell stuff. It's what I do, okay? And I'm about to tell you guys the truth. Do this now, because in the next 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, I'm not sure when it's going to happen. I don't have the crystal ball. We are truly not going to be needed as much as we are now. And you won't have the ability to post on social media because you're not going to need to because AI is going to take over. I know you thought you were going to come to an inspirational, motivational talk, but if you don't do this now, when the landscape changes, if you don't have the habits put into place, you're going to be in trouble. Now, with social media, visibility creates interest. Appointments turn the interest into decisions. So still taking into the concept and my thesis on not pitching, what I did with my appointment structure is to make sure that I took more of a consultant approach. Because I understood a long time ago that in real life, it's not good to consistently sell. It's better to ask questions and make it easier for people to buy. Because if I said, meet me at room 213 tonight, without knowing her, without doing any whining and dining, everybody here would be like, what a fucking creep. But yet, in our business, we do it all the time. When someone calls, I got 3 of those homes. Did you want to go tomorrow? Hey, are you pre-approved yet? Rather than taking the consultant approach, which is asking more questions. And the 5 questions that you should stick with to always elicit answers more than yes or no are what, where, when, how, and why. What, where, when, how, and why. Because you can't answer yes or no. You uncover a need, possibly, and then you can reverse engineer your service if there's an actual need. And if there's not, you just move to the next person. You put them into your CRM and you nurture them. But in the meantime, at least when you're speaking to somebody, you're not going for the hard close. Your job is to get them to the next step. The next step in a first initial phone call, from an initial phone call, might just be a face-to-face meeting or a longer, you can call this a discovery call. I call it a clarity call. You're more than happy to use that. I'm okay. We call it a clarity call. You can call it a consultation. But that's the stage where you want to start asking more questions so you can uncover a need. And you want to ensure that you're measuring certain metrics. And the metrics that you want to measure are how many calls are you making a day? How many people picked up the phone? We call those connections. Out of the connections, how many appointments did you book? How many people showed up to the appointments? And how many people did you get to the next step? The next step meaning a listing appointment, a buyer/investor consultation. Because booked appointments is where all the money's made. The rest is just noise. So if you look at your calendar right now, how many new consultations do you have in the next 7 days? Because I can tell you, if you show me your calendar, I can tell you how much money you make just by looking at your calendar on how many new appointments you have. I'm not talking about showings and listing appointments. I'm talking about new consultations with people. That's what this comes down to. Because right now we're safe because the robots are not selling to robots. We need people. That's why this pillar is the pillar that drives the car forward. Because it gives all the other pillars direction. Now, I thought my team might have sent you a tool that I made, so I'll give you guys an easier way to get it. It's free, don't worry. Your checkbooks are safe today, by the way. I have nothing to sell you, okay? Because I don't expect, oh, there it is, thank you. Whoever did that, that was kind of cool. Thanks, Ron. Because I don't expect you to remember all this, right? We went through the 4 tires, right? Time blocking, CRM and nurturing, educational events, social media, the steering wheel, which is the appointments. Now, I don't expect you to remember all this, so I made a tool where you can get some quick wins, okay? So with time blocking, I show you exactly how to schedule your money hours, as I call them, in the morning. With your CRM and nurturing, there's a client 15, which is 15 minutes a day just to nurture your database. And then with educational events, what the one event that you can do where you have it set up with an expert so you don't have to be the expert. Because I know that's a big concern for people. Social media pillar, you'll find ways to take one piece of content and recycle it so you get multiple pieces of content. And then with appointments, exactly how to end conversations so you book more appointments. I urge you to download it, get it, Because the truth is, if you had air in all 4 tires and a good solid steering wheel, you probably wouldn't be here today. Maybe you have air in 3 of the 4 tires, right?